With NHL training camps officially underway, Chris Johnston, there's plenty of excitement here in Toronto at the Maple Leafs back on the ice. There's also plenty of excitement and plenty of hype surrounding 18-year-old Nick Robertson. Chris, he's a great young player, but is he a player that maybe deserves all the hype he's getting, or a player that we'll see on the ice come playoff time for the Leafs?
Well, the mere fact he's among one of 34 skaters at this training camp, Shawn, that tells you that he's got a chance to play games. And, there's no charity here. This isn't about development for the future. This entire camp the Leafs are staging at the arena behind us is about identifying the best possible team that they can take into that play-in qualifier with the Columbus Blue Jackets. And yes, I think Nick Robertson is very much in that conversation. That being said, let's be real here. He started on the 5th or 6th forward line, depending on how you view the Leafs' depth. And Sheldon Keefe has been, quite open about the fact that he's got to go in there, he's got to take someone's job or bump an established player above him in the depth chart out of his role in order to play. And for him, as someone who scored 55 goals in the Ontario Hockey League this year, that means producing offense. And it's probably a little early to say whether or not what he's looked like or where he stands, but there is 5 scrimmages still to come in this camp that the Leafs are going to have, and I think during those scrimmages is where he's got to become a differentiator if he wants to play games this playoffs.
So whether or not we see Robertson in the lineup for the Leafs still remains a mystery, but one guy we will see a lot of is William Nylander. He had what can be described as a breakout season. Just what are the expectations on William Nylander as they get set to return to playoff hockey here?
Well, they're really high for him, and they have been all year. Remember, Shawn, I was in Stockholm actually last August and spoke with William, and he said, I'm going to dominate this season. And that was coming off, of course, the year where he missed the first few months with the contract issue. He didn't play up to his performance, and then he went and dominated at least much more so than we'd seen from him as an NHL player. And so, the next hurdle, I think, for him is to show it in the playoffs because, it's not been, where he's played best. He hasn't produced offensively in that spot, and he started this camp alongside a familiar line for him with Austin Matthews and Zach Hyman, and obviously that group will be counted on to help drive the Leafs offensively. And so I think that there's a great challenge there for Nylander to continue what he's done, to not have this 4 months interrupt what was a great season. And I think he's putting that on his own shoulders, that he's comfortable sort of raising the bar because the Leafs need better from him this playoffs than they have the last few seasons.
Now on Monday, day 1 of training camp, we talked a little bit about how Sheldon Keefe, how he was going to run this training camp and how he was going to try to make it feel as game-like as possible. On day 2, what type of things did he and the Maple Leaf staff do to make it as realistic as possible?
Well, the biggest surprise is, everything breaks off and all of a sudden you see 2 referees and 2 linesmen jump on. And it wasn't for a scrimmage. It was for a set of drills where the Leafs basically ran a continuous set of power plays, and they were working on specialty teams work, both obviously for the penalty killers and then the players out, at the 5-on-4. And, the idea here is that these officials will be involved in pretty much as many drills where it makes sense for the remainder of camp. The only reason they weren't here for day 1 is they need to get some COVID testing done before they were cleared to be on the ice. But, I think the Leafs really want to try to replicate game situations as much as you can. Remember, they're only getting 1 exhibition game before jumping into that playoff series with Columbus. So you have to create some of this yourselves. And I think even with the 5-on-4 work, they wanted just the 4 extra bodies that those officials have on the ice to get used to that, working the puck around and such. And so, we are seeing a little bit of innovation here, I think, in the way the Leafs are doing this. And I would think you'll see a bit more because, let's face it, the coaching staff did have a long time to dream up new and wonderful ways to run this camp.
Well, Chris, thank you very much. I think the Maple Leafs are doing everything to recreate that game feeling. I think Maple Leaf fans can't wait to get back to game action.